Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Boxiest, and today we're going to continue the What If series. What if events had gone differently? And in this What If, we're going to change the history of Cobra Kai. What if Miguel joined the Iron Dragons during the events of Cobra Kai Season 6, Part 4? If you haven't seen the previous parts, I would recommend you go watch them before continuing this one. So in this timeline, Johnny would retake Cobra Kai, Miguel and the rest of the Iron Dragons would be confused, and later on that day, Terry would be mad that Cobra Kai was back. Sensei Wolf would ask Miguel if he had known about Johnny's plan of retaking Cobra Kai, but Miguel would say that he hadn't, but Sensei Wolf wouldn't believe him, and he would hit Miguel. Wolf would tell Miguel not to lie to him, but Miguel would say he wasn't lying, and he would stand up to Wolf. Terry would say that was enough, and he would tell Miguel that he's beaten Moskowitz before, and that he can do it again, and he would say that they will still win. So Terry and Sensei Wolf would train Miguel and Zara. Those events would continue. Danny would still help Johnny reopen Cobra Kai, so Johnny would train Hawk and Tori. Those events would carry on, and the night of the finals, the Iron Dragons would still face Cobra Kai. The girls' finals would begin. Zara and Tori would still fight, and Zara would still get the upper hand in the first round, and she would still be ahead by 5 points. Tori would still be distracted, and she wouldn't be focused, but this is when Robbie would still tell her that he loves her, and this would get Tori back on track, so the fight would resume. Tori would continue fighting, and she would get 3 points, and much like in the original timeline, Tori would get 2 knockdowns, and a knockout. Tori would still defeat Zara, and she would be the girls' world champion. There would be a bit of a break between the matches. Miguel would be on his phone, and he would want to write a message to Sam, but this is when Miguel would get an email from Stanford, and Miguel would realize that Terry Silver had gotten him in, so the boys' finals would begin. Hawk and Miguel would face off. Hawk would ask Miguel if he was gonna hold back, but Miguel would say that he wasn't. Hawk would say good and that he wasn't either, so Hawk and Miguel would fight. Miguel would be fighting with offense, and he would still get 5 points, so the first round would end. And during the second round, Hawk would land some points on Miguel, and they would both be using a combination of offense and defense, so the second round would end. Terry would ask Miguel why he was showing him respect. He would tell Miguel that he should be ahead by way more points, and if he continues fighting like this, he can kiss his Stanford dream goodbye. But this is when Miguel would realize that it wasn't Terry Silver that got him into Stanford, and that he had gone in by his own merit, so Miguel would get mad. The final round would begin. Miguel would continue fighting Hawk, but now that Miguel knew that Terry Silver couldn't be trusted, Miguel wouldn't want to fight, and he would realize that he had betrayed his friends for nothing. So Miguel would look at Sam in the audience, and he would make a choice. The fight would continue, and Miguel would decide to hold back, so Hawk will land some points on Miguel. So in this timeline, Hawk would defeat Miguel by knockdown, so Hawk would be the boys Saikai Taikai world champion. Terry and Sensei would be mad that Miguel lost, and Terry would tell Miguel that he wasn't getting into Stanford, but Miguel would say that he already did, no thanks to him. Miguel would take off his gi and throw it on the ground. Hawk and Tori would be declared the champions of the Saikai Taikai, but much like in the original timeline, Cobra Kai and the Iron Dragons will be tied, so Johnny would still have to fight Sensei Wolf in a tiebreaker fight. Those events would carry on. Terry would still want to harm Johnny's family, but Kreese would still protect him, and those events would stay the same. Johnny would still be training to fight Sensei Wolf, and this is when Miguel would show up at the Cobra Kai dojo. Miguel would apologize for joining Silver, and he would say that he wanted to be there for Johnny, so Miguel would help Johnny train, and he would teach Johnny the Shaolin Sunset. Those events would continue. The night of the tiebreaker, Miguel would join Cobra Kai to support Johnny, so Wolf and Johnny would still fight, and Wolf would still land the first 2 points on Johnny, and he would be fighting dirty, so Johnny would continue the fight, and he would still regain his confidence. So Johnny would still score 3 points against Wolf, and he would still defeat him. So Cobra Kai would still win the Saikai Taikai, and the Cobra Kais would celebrate. The season was still on the same way. Johnny would continue to run Cobra Kai. Sam and Miguel would talk, and Sam would tell Miguel that she noticed that Miguel backed off during the fight, but Miguel would say that there are more important things than winning. So Sam and Miguel would get back together, and overall things would be peaceful in the valley. And that is where I'm going to end this What If. Thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think would have happened if Miguel joined the Iron Dragons during the events of Cobra Kai Season 6? Let me know in the comments below. YouTube lets me know that the majority of you are not subscribed, so if you guys could subscribe, that would be much appreciated. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And I'll see you guys next time.